I'm Dr. Neil Skolnick. The arts are important. We all know that. That's why we're drawn to them. Some of us have the talent and drive to create art. Today, we are really privileged to have two artists join us. Dr. Stephanie Cohen is a second-year surgical resident and clinical fellow in surgery at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston. Dr. Cohen came to her love of art and drawing early in her life. Welcome, Dr. Cohen.
Thank you, Dr. Skolnick. It's an honor to be here today.
And Dr. Dakshish Kumar Parikh is a cardiologist in practice in the Victoria Heart and Vascular Center in Victoria, Texas, about 2 hours southwest of Houston. Dr. Parikh came to his passion for painting just a couple of years ago when he was in his 50s. Welcome, Dr. Parikh.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Stephanie, let's start with you. How old were you when you began to draw?
I have been drawing since I was a child. I always loved drawing. I was drawing pretty much any chance that I got, to the point that the only time that I really got in trouble in school was when I used to hide inside during recess to escape the brutally cold Illinois winters just to draw.
The first piece of art that you have chosen to share with us is a piece titled Equilibrium. Can you tell us a bit about that as we display it on the screen here?
Yes. So I pursued a dual degree in biochemistry and art as an undergraduate, and was doing all kinds of artwork from figure drawing to sculpture, but hadn't really revisited the theme of human anatomy. And then after finishing my first year of surgical residency, I had the opportunity to do medical illustrations for an ABSITE review book, which is the in-training exam that we take every year. And I wanted to come full circle and draw again what inspired me to become a physician in the first place.
That's fantastic stuff. And this piece is just amazing, the way that you make the point visually about how everything works together and how there's a music to the way our body works.
Multiple people in my family are musicians, and the thought that I had was that in an orchestra, when one instrument is out of tune, it really compromises the harmony of the entire piece. If somebody is not listening to the director, it's like a cancer cell that's bypassing checkpoints and being unresponsive to its environment. So to play off of that theme, I created this art that incorporated human anatomy and musical instruments. And in doing so, I really learned about the architecture of the human body and a little bit about its function and how beautiful that it really is. And it made me want to pursue medicine.
The second piece that you chose to share with us is titled Potential. Can you tell us a bit about this while we display it on the screen?
Yes. So I created this piece during the last weeks of medical school prior to starting residency. I think that the pandemic, as well as the Black Lives Matter movement, really made all of us realize that art is important to spread public health messages, and art was everywhere. You were constantly seeing work encouraging people to social distance as well as wear masks. So I wanted to create something about the pandemic as well, something that communicated the uncertainty that we were going to experience, but then also potential and excitement. So the face of this woman is blank. It's the color of the paper because she can be anybody. She could be preparing to do anything or impact anybody. So that's why the background is also empty.
I love this piece. It really shows courage. It's bold. And I think it's filled with promise. Dakshish, I have the same question for you. How old were you when you started painting?
I was 55 years old.
And what led you to it?
While during the pandemic, at the height of the pandemic, I was quarantined from the family.
Can you share one or two of your favorite paintings, and I'll display them when we talk about them?
Sure.
So let's start with a painting you titled The Ballerina with the Twin Prosthesis. I was moved by this. Can you discuss when you painted it and what the painting means to you?
This painting was about 6 months into my work in art. And what this implies to me is the insurmountable odds that the ballerina overcame to ring in the spring in form of a ballet dance.
Beautiful. Let's now look at the second painting, which is incredibly large. Can you give people a sense of its dimensions?
It's about 18 feet by 5 feet wide and 18 feet tall. It's the cosmic guitar, talking about the cosmic background radiation from the time of the Big Bang.
How does your art inform your practice as a physician?
Well, it deeply does so. Being in the arts, it makes me empathize more with my patients, find maybe a common avenue to talk about their life, and be more observant and a keen listener.
Stephanie, how has your perspective and what you've learned from art influenced the way you approach things as a doctor?
I think that fundamentally, art teaches us about communication and perspective taking. I think that as physicians, nurses, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, we all have something to bring to the table, and we all notice different things about our patients. And when different providers are looking at the same objective data, it's like looking at art or looking at something that you're planning on drawing. You have to take in that data, interpret it, and come up with a plan to achieve a goal. Now, all of us have a common goal, but we might have different ways to go about achieving it. And I think that by communicating and taking other people's perspectives into consideration, we do a much better job at treating the patient as a whole.
Stephanie, what an incredibly important message. Dr. Stephanie Cohen, Dr. Dakshish Kumar Parikh, thank you for joining us. I'm Dr. Neil Skulnick, and this is Medscape.